Friday, January 7, 1944. Dearest Kitty, I'm such an idiot. I forgot that I haven't yet told you the diary of my story. One true love. Sorry. I forgot that I haven't yet told you the story of my one true love, yes. When I was a little girl, way back in nursery school, I took a liking to Sally Kimmel. His father was gone, and he and his mother lived with an aunt. One of Sally's cousins was a good-looking, slender, dark-haired boy named Appy, who later turned out to look like a matinee idol and aroused more admiration than the short, comical, chubby Sally. For a long time we went everywhere together, but aside from that, my love was unrequited with Peter crossed my path. I had an absolute crush on him. He liked me too, and we were inseparable for one whole summer. I can still see us walking hand in hand through our neighborhood. Peter in a white cotton suit and me in a short summer dress. At the end of the summer holidays, he moved up a little from the next door, while I stayed in the in the sixth form. Sorry. Next, wait, what's wrong? Sit back down. What's going on? Run. At the end of the summer holidays, he moved up a form to the next school, while I stayed in the sixth form. He'd collect me up on the way home, or I'd pick him up. Peter was the ideal boy, tall, slim, good-looking, with a serious, quiet, and intelligent face. He had dark hair, beautiful brown eyes, ruddy cheeks, and a nicely pointed nose. I was crazy about his mouth, which made him look so boyish and mischievous. I'd gone away to the countryside summer holidays, and when I came back, Peter was no longer at his old address. He'd moved and was living with a much older boy, who apparently told him that I was just a child because Peter stopped seeing me. I loved him so much that I didn't want to face the truth. I kept clinging to him until the day I finally realized that if I continued to chase him, people would say I was mad about boys. The years went by. Peter hung around with girls his own age and no longer bothered to say hello to me. I started school at the Jewish Lyceum, and several boys in my class were in love with me. I enjoyed it and felt honored by their attentions, but that was all. Later on, Hello had a terrible crush on me, but as I've already told you, I've never fell in love again. I never fell in love again. There's a saying, time heals all wounds. That's how it was with me. I told myself I had forgotten Peter and no longer liked him in the least. But my memories of him were so strong that I had to admit to myself that the only reason I no longer liked him was that I was jealous of the other girls. This morning I realized that nothing has changed. On the contrary, as I've grown older and more mature, my love has grown along with me. I can understand now that Peter thought I was childish, and yet it still hurts to think he'd forgotten me completely. I saw his face so clearly. I knew for certain that no one but Peter could have stuck to my mind that way. I've been in an utter state of confusion today. When Father kissed me this morning, I wanted to shout, "Oh, if only you were Peter." I've been thinking of him constantly, and all day long I've been repeating to myself, "Oh, Petal, my darling, darling Petal." I've been in an utter state of confusion today. When Father kissed me this morning, I wanted to shout, "Oh, if only you were Peter." I've been thinking of him constantly, and all day long I've been repeating it to myself. "Oh, Petal, my darling, darling Petal, where can I find help? I simply have to go on living and praying to God that if we ever get out of here, Peter's path will cross mine, and he'll gaze into my eyes, read the love in them, and say, 'Oh, Anne, if I'd only known, I'd have come to you long ago.'" Once Father and oh my God, wait, what? What? Wait. Once Father, okay. Once, when Father and I were talking about sex, he said I was too young to understand. that kind of desire. But I thought I did understand it, and now I'm sure I do. Nothing is as dear to me now as my darling Peter. What is Peter? Isn't that Peter? What is. Wait. Who is Peter? Isn't that Peter? I thought it was Peter. Or are you just changing the name or something? It's Petal. You say it's Petal. Okay, what? Let's see. Aha, I saw my face in the mirror and it looked so different. It looked so different. My eyes were clear and deep, my cheeks were rosy, which they hadn't been in weeks. My mouth was much softer. I looked happy, and yet there was something so sad in my expression that the smile immediately faded from my lips. I'm not happy since I know Petal or Petals not thinking of me, and yet I can still feel his beautiful